It is my pleasure to introduce Don DeCarlo, lawyer, teacher, leader in the insurance industry, and very happily, a long-standing Columbus Citizens Foundation member. Please turn your attention to the video.
I always wanted to go and watch the parade. 80 years later, I never made a parade. And then I get a call. I was ecstatic.
Don DeCarlo has waited a lifetime for this.
It means a lot to me because I am a purebred Neapolitan Italian.
The old country and old New York. The 2023 Honoree is a proud product of Italian roots.
My grandparents raised me. They spoke a lot of Italian. They tried to what they called Americanize me.
Growing up with an immigrant family in the Soundview section of the Bronx kept DeCarlo on his toes.
I enjoyed it. There was always something going on. So you walked out the door and you were in a game. You were playing stickball or punchball or you were fighting.
Don liked the fighting.
Friday nights in the South Bronx was Gillette Fight Night. Graziano, Marciano, Jake LaMotta. Italians wanted to get out of their role being poor, and that was a way out.
For DeCarlo, a good education was the ticket upward.
I went to Mount St. Michael High School in the Bronx. They really gave me a great foundation. I went to Iona College after that.
Then, after making a name for himself in the insurance industry, Don kept fighting like the boxers he grew up admiring.
As much as I liked insurance, I saw the lawyers, Italian-American lawyers, were some of the people I respected most. I went to St. John's Night School to become a lawyer.
Next came 50 successful years in insurance law, lots of writing, and a role teaching at his alma mater. He's even worked with boxers. DeCarlo credits the good advice he's gotten along the way.
If you have problems, do what my father said. Put your head down and keep plugging. Mario Cuomo's ideal that if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. Then St. Francis de Sales used to say, be yourself and be that well.
And with the Columbus Citizens Foundation, Don's helping new generations of Italian-American kids become the best versions of themselves, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Donald DeCarlo.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a great time. I'm going to make this short and sweet. One of the things I did learn from my Italian father early on, he says, you know, when you speak, he says, use the 3 S's. Make it sincere, short, and sit down. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm honored tonight to be here and grateful to be an honoree with some of these prestigious guests. You've heard the Grand Marshal, the other honorees here. I wish all of them well, and thanks to the good help of the Columbus Citizens Foundation, in particular Lisa Ackerman, who really held my hand through the whole process from when I was honored and notified that I was honored, and all your efforts for being here supporting this great effort of the Columbus Citizens Foundation. You know, between the parade and these galas, they raised, going back, I guess it was to the mid-'80s, $34 million for scholarships. You know, that's not chump change. That's really good. Mine is not a long and agonizing story. I'll just give you a minute or so on my background. You know, Italian, Neapolitan Italian grandparents, immigrated from Italy here. My grandfather had a special role in New York. He was a dynamite foreman and worked on construction of the UN. And you know, in those days, I don't know if they knew about licenses or what have you. He was right off the boat, blowing up ground there, or you know, on FDR Drive. And you know, I was brought up in the Bronx and went to a public grammar school, wanted to go to high school. I was going to go to James Monroe in the Bronx, and I said, nah, you know, the Irish kids are smarter than us. They all go to Mount St. Michael and Cardinal Hayes. And they have a good football team. I'll go to Mount St. Michael. And my grandparents didn't direct me, but they were always supportive. And I got in and I went through there, and those Marist brothers were just great. Then I wanted to go on to college, the first one in my family from my grandparents' times. And I shopped around, being in the Bronx. Fordham was the right guess. The Jesuits at Fordham. And then I I interviewed at Iona, the Irish Christian Brothers. But you know, those Jesuits know how to charge. So I went for the better deal. I went to Iona. And then great times at Iona, and started working in the insurance business and went on to night school at St. John's, another great school, good experiences there. And all of the above brought me miles ahead of, you know, my grandparents landing here in the U.S., but only in the U.S. can Italians do it like that. That's really something else. The Columbus Club Columbus Citizens Foundation is great. You know, I joined initially for the great food they have there, and but as I found out, they do good things like the scholarship program. So I continued to stay there maybe 30 years or so. And I don't want to go on anymore except to give you a couple of quotes to end my few comments here. Quotes from people who I really admired, Italian backgrounds. First was my former law school professor, Mario Cuomo, not Andrew. I give my age away. Mario was just great. And he used to have all these prophetic sayings. One of them you heard already, I think, in what was up here. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And I would twist that a little and say, if it feels good, it's probably good. And that's what the Columbus Citizens Foundation is doing with this. And then finally, I'm inactive with the Catholic Church, very much so. With my good friend, Bishop Damasio, I'm pleasantly surprised to see me here tonight. The Sales Media, who puts out the tablet for those of you who get it in your jurisdictions. They have a net TV. And this, so I'm on the board of the Sales Media, and some of the things I get from that is some quotes here and there from St. Francis de Sales, who, by the way, was half Italian, a little French, but mostly Italian. And one of his famous saying is, "For it is in giving that we receive." And with that, I want to end my speech. Thank you very much.